I
like
mean,
it's fairly simple like that.
well, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I was debating if it was the right time to mention it and how to mention it, but and this may sound defensive, and I don't mean it to. So I've said this before. You may have heard me say this. I've always admired people that are super authentic and genuine, right? Because for most of my life, I haven't been, right? You know that, right? People
Mhm.
pleaser, like don't whatever. And three people that I point to that have always been like, yeah, they're super authentic, super genuine is my brother, you, and Tiana, so my wife. And one of the things I've started to notice as I've become like more observant and looked at it in the cases of you three, I think, is that there is like a simplicity because you guys are so authentic and genuine. And I might be making some assumptions here, but because like that's probably the way you were from a very young age, it's always the way you viewed and approached life. There is a very simple approach to it. It's not super thoughtful. It's not like it's the opposite of me in many ways, like overthinking things a ton,
Yeah.
trying to figure out like, is that really what makes me the most happy or is it that? You kind of just go with it. And um there's no need for you to be any more thoughtful than that. There's no need for you to overthink it at all. You're just going authentically, genuinely with what you want, what you feel. And it's almost a foreign concept for you to talk about philosophy in some ways, like we've joked about,
Yeah.
because like with philosophy, what just do what you need to do that makes you happy. Like it's just as simple as that. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, if it's a privilege thing, if it's a luck. Like I don't know what to make of that. But what do you think? Do you feel like that's
Yeah.
accurate?
No, I feel like that is pretty accurate because, and that's kind of maybe why, like, why I had some hesitation to like do the podcast because, I've listened to a few episodes and like, you have some guests on here who are like super thoughtful, super intellectual, and seem like they're giving this thing, this question like some real thought. And not to say like I haven't given it real thought because I actually have. Like you see, I kind of had a piece of paper with like written down what I was going to say. Um, but it's not very complex for me because, like I said, for some reason in my head, and what gives me satisfaction is like, I like, I'm still, young, I feel, but I was like, I kind of like set a goal for myself when I was younger, like I said, maybe high school, to, you know, go to school, go to a decent college, get a job. People are like, oh, do you want to work, do you want to start your own business? And I didn't really have a mindset for that at the time. And I'm like, no, I just want to work for a brand name company and then work my way up. And that's kind of all I wanted to do because I feel like if you work for a brand name company, that gives you the stability you need to support
Maintain the lifestyle and
a
the
lifestyle.
value. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, okay, that's what I want to do when I get older. So then when it happens and then you kind of work your way up and you know you you start kind of establishing yourself professionally and as a person. You get married, you buy a house, and obviously the next step when you buy a house is we discuss whether you want to start a family or not. And like I said, that's the kind of the struggle I have, and I'm going to say we have, is that it's we like our lifestyle. We like that even though all of our friends have kids, we like the fact that we can just pick up and leave. Like we don't have to worry about anybody. We could,
See,
next week on Aruba. We don't have to worry about like, bringing a kid or finding someone to watch them and things like that. And it's like, do we want to mess that up
well,
or
and that's what's so interesting. Like you were worried about being on the show. This is why I think everybody's interesting because we're simplifying a little bit, but your approach to life, to me, this is like a fascinating case study to examine in a number of different ways. But I'll go with the one you just said, but I have others as well. Like exactly as you said, it's always been simple. It's always been like it's just very clear what I want and what I want to do. And you keep work. If you do the work, you're going to get it, and you feel good, and you're as happy as you thought. It begs the question: why this anomaly? Why this situation with a kid where it's like, oh, this is fucking tough now? Like I don't know. That's been none of your. Again, I'm oversimplifying, but none of your life has been like that. It's been super straightforward and simple. It at least you have to entertain the idea that the reason for that is because it's not. You're no longer being natural. Like that's not the path. If that was what you were meant to do, it would feel as easy as everything else you were doing.
yeah, well, it could be possible, but it's like sort of like you said, it's sort of we have a house and it could be pressure from the families too because my family they would love to have a little Dave and Dina running around. But then I'm like, okay, family really wants it. We have a house. We have a room for a baby. It's like maybe that's what we should do, you know. And like I said, I like to think like, and I don't know if this is because I'm getting older, and like not to say that I'm like 50 years old, but like at 38, I'm like kind of like, okay, you know, it would be nice to, like I said, have a legacy in this world, like something that is both me and Dina, that will go on and like,
Then why aren't you doing it?
because I'm still unsure. That's the thing.
That's where I say, like, I would call it a superpower. This is what I say to my brother all the time. That superpower of just being naturally authentic and genuine, where you almost don't know any other way. Like you didn't do like deep reflection in a cave to become as authentic as you are. It's just who you are. Like that's just what you do, right? That's just what it is. To me, the superpower in that is that all those things like family pressure, societal pressure, my friends have kids. For someone like me who doesn't naturally have that superpower, it's very difficult for me to delineate like what's my genuine own thought and what I want and what is something else that's like externally being pushed on me. And that's not a knock on anybody. It's just, that's just reality. For you, I feel like that superpower is you actually know, like, you know who you are. You followed this path your whole life, and you should be able to tell the difference. Maybe not, right? Maybe I'm wrong in it, but that should be the way it works.
Well, that's what I would think too. But like I said, it's like one of those situations where it's like, okay, now I'm making progress on the one aspect of my life where, you know, I want to, you know, get a job, get a house, get married, blah, 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 and do all that stuff. Okay, there. So I'm there, and then obviously I know there's more room to grow, but I'm in a good space right now. But then it's kind of like, you know, am I missing something in my life? And, you know, is this going to be one of those things where I'm gonna get to the point where I know, like, you know, we definitely can't have kids. Am I going to regret this?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
That sense of missing something in your life, maybe, right? Is that like a feeling? Like you literally feel like you're missing something in your life?
No,
Or is that more like
I don't feel like I'm missing
conceptual?
anything.
Right. So that's more of a conceptual thing. Like, it's not that I feel like I'm missing something, but like logically, when I look at how people's lives are normally set up, like, it's much more like academic.
And it could be, and it could be some of the outside noise because
Right. Whatever the source.
obviously you don't deal with this because you have a son, but you know, with me and Dina being married, you know, 3 years ago, or you know, 2.5
That
years
long already?
ago, huh?
Is that
Yeah,
long?
2.5 years ago, 2019.
Okay.
So, you know, coworkers and family, they all, you know, find out you just got married or whatever, and they literally all they ask, when did the kids come? When did the kids come? When
Yeah,
did the
but you
kids
don't care.
and I don't care. And I just kind of say, oh, well, we'll see, you know, kind of just brush it off. Or it's just like, I don't know. And, you know, they always say, oh, kids are, and this is actually the one thing, and I don't want you to say anything bad.
I'll say whatever the truth
But
is.
no, what I was going to say, like literally everyone who says, you know, something to me, like they seem to like not regret it. And I think that's one of the worries that we may have is like, if we do have it, is like, all right, will we regret this decision? And it's like something you can't really take back if you do.
Yeah, there's a leap of faith there for sure. Like,
Well,
it's possible that the Dave Andrews right now would regret it, but you would change, and the version of you after you have a kid wouldn't. Like, you don't know. You don't know the impact of that.
and that's kind of what I was telling Dina, is that I was like, I don't know of anyone who actually ever regrets.
Well, but there's also, you don't know people that admit they regret. It's
Well,
possible there's other,